like, y'all, get closer to your headphones or to your speaker. We are running out of recipes. We need more doctors. We need more lawyers. We need more people that can fix things. We need plumbers. We need teachers. We need people with the collars that are blue. I know that YouTube and social media and the internet is making a way for all of us to create really beautiful lives of living on the internet and getting paid for it. But Jesus Christ, what are y'all gonna do in 2052 when ain't no doctors out here but the ones on the TikTok? What's up, everybody? Welcome to Normalize This, the show where we discuss whether or not ideas, trends, and behaviors should be normalized in everyday society. My name is Danielle Young.
And I'm Adam Rippon.
Yes, we love to hear it, Adam. You sound it's just so crisp and clear.
I feel like I'm giving good voice today.
Yeah, I feel like we should be on our best foot because today we're going to be discussing normalizing failure. And you got to be a strong bitch to talk about failure, right?
Yeah, you do. Which is why I pounded down a Celsius right before this started. So I just want you to know that if I didn't feel like a failure ever in my life, I do feel like one now because the anxiety of pounding down a Celsius, it says live fit. It feels like I'm going to live
I really
not much
don't
longer.
even know what a Celsius is. Am I in the wrong tax bracket?
No, you're not. No, no. Celsius is, I'm going to read what it says. It says burns body fat. It's probably because my heart is, my beats per minute is 180 right now.
I am afraid. I don't know, Fran. You should not be just casually drinking stuff like that.
Well, if that hasn't enticed you to listen to this entire episode, I don't know what will, but maybe after the second segment, you should stick around, definitely, because we have a segment called Keep It or Curve It.
Yeah, there's a song.
There is a song. And if I remember it, it will be the best day of my life.
We're going to sing it later, so you have to keep listening to hear the song.
Yes, you have to keep listening.
So many enticing things that we...
so many, really, truly.
Listen, but what is Keep It or Curb It?
Keep It or Curb It is where we decide to keep things or curb them. It's a brilliant title. It really is.
I mostly love curbing things. That's my favorite pastime.
Me too. I don't want to keep anything.
And honestly, because we are all just getting to know each other in this grand thing we called life, I always like to ask Adam, and I also do share, a very fun fact about ourselves. So Adam, what is today's fun fact?
My fun fact today is that I got these Celsius drinks at Costco a week ago because I thought that they were just sparkling juices. Because it says live fit and there's an orange on it. And I didn't realize
you could just eat oranges.
No. Danielle, you are crazy, girl.
What a crazy
I can't just eat an orange. I have to carry that
Oranges
around.
for health. Who would ever?
I would literally, I want to live fit, as it says on the front. I want to burn body fat. I want to accelerate my metabolism.
As you are literally sweating, sitting there.
Yeah.
I am nervous.
Believe me, my chair is going to be sopping wet. If I'm lucky.
That might be the funnest fact that Adam's ever shared about himself. It just makes me feel like I need to share something a little more current for my fun fact.
Please save us.
Well, I mean, there is a fun fact happening for me. I made myself a cocktail to drink during this podcast.
Ooh, what is your cocktail of podcast choice?
Today, I have a couple of fresh peaches because in my house, we do love the actual fruit.
Okay. Weird. Okay. We kind of love preservatives at my house, but okay, continue.
Yeah, so I have a couple fresh
intrigued.
Slices of peach, and they've been soaking in a little bit of tequila that I brought back with me from Mexico. And
amazing.
Yeah, because I like to do that. I feel like it's so basic, but I really like to bring tequila back from Mexico.
Yeah, that's very she.
It is. It's a little on the nose, but I like it.
I love it.
And a little dash of lemonade, and the cocktail is supreme, I must say. So
Wow.
yeah, my fun fact
Beautiful.
is instead of drinking Celsius, I'm drinking a little tequila. So for those of you out there listening, it may get a lot more fun as we go along.
Good.
But before we get into our show, I don't want y'all to forget because we are in a relationship. We are together. We're holding hands, interlocking fingers. You and me. I'm in your ear holes. Okay? That sounded really intense.
I love it. It's very. It feels like the intimacy that we've been lacking.
I need them to know that I'm connected to them. Y'all, I love y'all. So because I love y'all, I need y'all to hit us up on social media and let us know what you want to see normalized, what you want to talk about. And you can do that by hitting me up on the Twitters. I'm Rapso Danny over there, RHAPSODANI. And then on Instagram, I'm the Danielle Young. Just tell me some things. Tell me what you want to normalize. Adam, tell the people where they can at you.
And you guys can tell me things too. So you can follow me on Instagram at @AdaRip and on Twitter at AdamRippon. So anything that needs to be normalized, send that over to us and we will get down and dirty if you want us to. Okay?
Whatever you want. Like, I love DM slides that are just a little bit dirty. So whatever you need to do.
I love all DM slides.
Because we're normalizing stuff around here. It's like, that's kind of how you need to lead with that. Also, wait, before you say, I want to tell them to rate the show because we need to pay our bills. So
that's right.
Rate it, subscribe, and you're going to start feeling our love in your veins and coursing through your hearts, especially if you drink Celsius. It's going to be going super fast. So that'll cause you to want to leave a paragraph review. Do that.
5 stars. Listen, if you don't have a 5-star review, just DM us and we'll fix it.
I'm going to copy paste your DMs to our reviews from different email addresses.
Yes.
I'm not going to do that.
All right, let's do it. Normalizing failure.
Whew.
Danielle.
Failure is something we all have to deal with, but we don't spend enough time talking about how we handle it.
Yeah, because we don't want to talk about failure.
I do.
Sucks. I do now that I realize that it's not like the end, right?
Yes.
I was very embarrassed and afraid of it when I was younger.
Yeah, I was really I just didn't want to be a loser. I didn't want to not use my gifts or the things that I, went to school for. I don't know. I had this thing on my back being you got to do this. So I think, but now I still have that same drive and motivation to do things, but not as strongly. I'm not as desperate.
Yeah.
I think. And so failing because I've done it, it's not a scary thing anymore.
Yeah. The fear of failure is gone, but the motivation of failure is still there.
Still there, still haunting me. Listen, today we're going to carve out a safe space to talk about ways we've fallen short and destigmatize a lot of the ways that failure is viewed in our society.
Let's go.
You ready for that, Adam?
I'm ready.
Did you know that there's a clinical name for the fear of failure?
What is it? Because I'm going to be honest with you. It's the word is in front of me. It truly is in front of me. And I know that it's an English word, but that is as far as I'm willing to go.
We're going to give it a good old try. Okay. Adichophobia. Adichophobia.
That's a dumb name.
First of all, I'm not going to say that about myself. How dare you?
Adichophobia? Achophobia. Do you think it's that? Achophobia?
Achophobia. There's a Y in there that's where are you taking us?
Yeah. No,
I don't understand.
I'm the clinical name, achophobia.
Well, either way, did you know that 31% of American adults, because this is a place that fear exists, fear exists. But
that's one of our constitutional rights is fear.
I know it's written in the Constitution.
We are all promised failure, but from our founding fathers.
31% of us Americans, adults, because children, they have that freedom, are actually afraid of failure.
Yeah. Okay. I want to know who the other 69% are who aren't.
Relax. You guys are just lying to yourselves. Also,
that's
who
crazy.
is the person that went around taking the survey for this?
Me.
Hey,
all 31%
are you
of America.
afraid of failing?
Yeah, I mean, 31, I'm going to be honest, that feels too low. 31%. Only 31 are
At least
afraid
half
of
of us.
failure.
Like, stop it.
Yeah, at least half. And the other half.
They're lying to themselves.
Yeah, they're not.
Where do you think like a fear of failure actually comes from? Let's dig into your childhood.
Okay. I think the fear of failure comes truly from, I think not wanting to be embarrassed is a key to like being afraid of failure. I think that, you know how people are always like, well, not people. I always say as a joke, like I'm afraid of my own potential for everything, because it truly is, it's a fear. But I do think that there's something to it because, you know, I think when you're trying to do something or you have a goal and you can feel so close to it, that fear that it might not come true almost can be like a self-sabotage so that you make that happen, that it doesn't happen and because you're so afraid it might not happen. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Was that even in English? Was that atrophobia? Because I think I have atrophobia now.
It was giving me, it was a little atchy. I think, I do think you were onto something with that because I feel like every podcast episode is going to have a Oprah story. Like I'm just constantly going to bring up Oprah and or Beyonce.
I'm done with podcasts with guests. I'm done with podcasts with small talk. I want to talk about Oprah.
Yeah, because listen, let's talk about it because Oprah has said in an interview before how if you're going to fail big. Like Oprah creating the own network.
Yeah.
Like let it seep into your spirit. A Black woman has her own television network, right? And a lot of people would call it a failure, especially over the years. And, you know, when it comes to certain numbers or things like that. But the idea that, and this is an Oprah moment, not like some grand like revelation that I had, but Oprah was like, listen, you may call it a failure, but think about what I've done in my career as a person to be a Black woman to create a network. So if I'm going to fail, if I'm going to shoot, I might as well shoot far, dream big. I know Oprah and her life is very different from most of us, but the concept of that and going for it, it just, you know, it really speaks to a more positive spin on the idea of what failure is.
And Danielle, I have a question. Are there any moments in your life where you felt like you were a total fraud, you were a total failure? Because I have moments in my life, but I want to know if you have any in yours. Or has it always just been as effortless as it seems?
Listen, I think one of the things that people love most about me is that I am incredibly honest with things and with where I am and what I'm going through. So I'm very honest when I'm like not in it or I'm not doing well, but I also do not call those moments failures. I do not call myself a failure. I just understand that as a person, there are times where things are not going to be 100% great. Like, you know, okay, let me tell you a story.
I'm ready.
So, okay, you know, I'm a journalist. I've been doing this thing for about 15 years now. And I got the amazing opportunity at the last Oscars. Yes, the Oscars, the one where nobody remembers much of anything except the fact that Will Smith smacked Chris Rock in the face. But I got
which you told him to do, which is
why
insane.
I'm telling this story.
Right.
I'm the reason. I was like, if you don't slap him tonight. No, that wasn't me. I do not condone violence. Thank you, everyone. But I got the esteemed honor to host a red carpet moment at the Oscars. And I was so excited because this was my first Oscars ever. I've hosted a lot of red carpets. I've done a lot of really amazing things, but this was my very first Oscars ever in my long career. And I was so excited because this person trusted me to just handle everything because of my caliber of expertise and professionalism. And Adam, I dropped the ball.
How so? I highly doubt it.
Now this I did deem a failure because I'm very used to getting all the paperwork and the emails and everything about carpets and assessing everything and making sure everything, because I'm a Virgo, so I'm making sure everything is in order. But I just was not mentally all the way checked in. And I did a lot of assuming as opposed to fine-tooth combing and asking questions. And I dropped the ball on attending something virtually that would have informed me on some timings. I also have mad friends in the game who were also on the carpet who I could have asked to be sure. But I didn't do that. I just assumed based on seeing that the carpet pre-show started at 3:30 that I was more than okay if I was at the carpet by 1:30 because I would have more than enough time before the red carpet started on a 5 p.m. start. We did get an email saying that the carpets opens at 11 a.m., but it's like, oh, just for like big TVs and platforms and things to be built and people to load in. But like people started actually arriving at like noon.
Oh my God.
And so I got a call at like 1 as I was like putting on the wig, doing the final touches, getting on my way out. And it was just like, where are you? And it just a whole thing. And it just really deflated me in the moment. You know, I have like a team of people in my house, doing my makeup, doing my hair. I have folks helping me with like doing social videos and things like that. So it's just like to have this call happen and to know that I wasn't there and to know that it was going to take me a minute to even get there, to not have a second to even luxuriate in like having this whole fabulous moment for myself. And it just all became anxiety immediately and getting there. But I still got there, still got an amazing array of interviews, including one of the hosts, Regina Hall, because, you know, this past year it was 3 hosts, Regina Hall, Amy Schumer, and Wanda Sykes. So still got Regina, still got a bunch of different interviews like Chloe and Halle, and actually got away from Will and Jada, like different things like that. And so I felt still really good about what I got, but I just really kicked myself for not paying attention diligently enough to details for such an epic moment. And that, you know, fumble messed up a relationship with the person who was, you know, who hired me, because they had a personal relationship with the person who produced the Oscars. And it was this whole thing. And so it just really felt like a big failure on my end. And I beat myself up for a long time about it until I finally had to like just eat it and take a role of what can I learn from this and how can I move forward for the next opportunity in a way that's not going to be like, I'm not going to set myself up for failure.
Right. So can I ask, it sounds like aside from getting to the carpet late, everything else went great.
It did.
Are you that hard on yourself?
I am, but also to have that type of feedback from the person who assigned me the job to be like, hey girl, you could have did this, you could have did that. But
yes, totally. Yeah, I mean, that, wow, you really failed, Danielle. Wow.
What a failure I am. But I guess it sounds worse, but it really was a devastating thing because it was just such a big deal.
Well, you're a perfectionist. You want to do the best job you can. It makes total sense.
Listen, the fear of failure is distressing.
Yeah. I know in my own, like, when I used to compete, obviously one of my dreams was to go to the Olympics. And the first time I tried to qualify was in 2010. And the next time I tried to qualify was in 2014. And I did not make the team in 2010, which it was that, you know, if a lot of people made mistakes, I would have had like an opportunity, but they didn't. And I was young and I was like, whatever, I'm going to go in 2014.
Right.
And then when 2014 came around, I was going to be 24, which like in that world is
ancient.
Yeah. And it's like prime. And it's like, if it's not going to happen at 24, it might not ever happen. And it didn't happen. And it wasn't even close. And it was the first time that I felt like this dream I had wasn't going to come true. And I think that like, it was just something that was so stuck in my mind that like, I'm going to do this. And then I felt like I was smacked with this realization that like this dream I've always had of going to the Olympics, like it's not going to happen. And I put so much pressure on it happening that when I felt like it was my last opportunity to achieve this goal, and when it didn't happen, that's when I felt like, okay, I've failed. I wasted all this time. There were moments where like I had to like step up when the pressure was on and I didn't do it. And I just felt like I couldn't handle pressure, and I felt like I was a failure.
Whew. Now, ladies
But-
and gentlemen, that is failure. I'm just
No, that's yeah. You showed up late, sweetheart. I spent 20 years being bad. That's failure.
Oh my God, no. I love that you told that story though, because like that's such a real piece of life. Like I had a friend tell me, like, yo, people always, work hard and you're diligent and you're doing it.
Mhm.
And oh my God, you're gonna make it. And like honest to goodness, there's so many people who actually do work hard diligently and still don't quote unquote make it.
Oh, totally. I think also what I learned from that moment was that like as I moved forward, I got to a place where obviously so from that moment there were 4 years to go, and in the next year I was still not, I just was not great. My head wasn't in it, and I finally got to a place where I was like, you know what, I need to stop before this gets really sad, and I'm actually just wasting my time.
Mm-hmm.
And so in that moment, I had maybe like 10 weeks before we had like a national championships. And I was like, this is going to be the last one. But I'm going to like train as hard as I can. And I'm not going to give a fuck about anything else. Like if I win or whatever. But if I'm at my absolute best and I get like dead last,
Yeah.
I'm going to be the best last place person that ever existed.
Oh, no,
and so it's like,
that's
who
right.
fucking cares? And in that moment, like I did so well at that next event because I didn't care. And so when we have these competitions, we have a short program and a long program. And in the short program, I did one of the best short programs I've ever done. And at the end of the event, I was in 5th. And at first I was like, that fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if I was going to do my absolute best, and my absolute best is like 5th right now, I didn't feel like my scores like matched up to the way that I skated, and I just felt kind of frustrated. And in that moment, I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to just do my best tomorrow. And in the next event, which is the long program, which like after that is you get your final placement, I just did so well. I did the best I've ever done, and I got this great score, and it looked like I could win. And I was like, oh my God, like that it's this like fairy tale that like I come back, I just focus, I just want to do my best. And then the last skater comes out. He was super consistent the whole season. He had a big lead on me heading into the free skate. He does really well. He gets second in the free skate, easily beats me. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, great. Like I do my best.
Right.
And here we go again. Like it's not good enough to win. And it was like, in that moment, I was like, but I'm still so like, shut up.
Right.
Because I'm so happy with the way that I did that like, I could give a fuck about any medal or anything. And it was so liberating. And it was like the best thing to not win that event, because I realized that like the winning didn't matter as long as that like success felt like success to me. And I think that like so many of us get hung up on like these things that we want to achieve that I know that myself, that I've totally lost focus on like the way I want to feel when I complete something.
Yeah.
And when I think about that and I think about that feeling of accomplishment, that leads me into a direction and on a path that like I didn't even know to think of.
Yeah, that's real.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like when I've focused more on like, how do I want to feel more than what do I want to achieve?
Yeah.
I get so much more satisfaction. And sometimes circumstantially, I'll achieve what I would hope to achieve. But like, I enjoyed the journey of it so much more, if that makes sense.
No, that does make sense. I mean, that is the crux of everything, is to enjoy the actual journey. Because I think so many people spend so much time aspiring, which is like, very necessary in the sake of like, having goals and wanting to work towards something. But it's very important to like understand where you are currently and how you are doing things that are supporting that. for your future self.
Yes.
I have more stats, Adam. I see
Please.
it, and this one feels a little more accurate because it's almost half. But 49% of Americans, us again, agree that fear of failure prevents them from achieving or revisiting goals. And
Okay. That makes
you
sense.
told your failure story about, not making it, but like, what made you get back up again? Because you revisited the goal.
I think the thing is that, you know how you said earlier that like you don't consider these things failures.
Yeah.
And I think it was reframing it and just thinking of them as like, if I learned something from this, it's not a failure because I learned something and I can improve upon it.
Yeah.
But I think that like when I made mistakes and I didn't learn from them, or I was like, okay, that just didn't happen. I just wanted to like erase that memory. I repeated them. And so I didn't learn anything. So that's failing, not learning anything from a mistake.
Period.
I think in those moments, I always thought that like it only feels like a failure if you don't try. Because if you try and you just do your best, you can at least learn something from that. And if you do your best, there's no regrets that you could have tried harder or you could have done more.
Yeah.
If you did all the right prep work and everything, there's no regret to it. Which, but this 49% makes way more sense than 31. I guess 31 is just like afraid of failure in general.
As a whole, I guess, but when they break it down a little bit, it says that like, okay, so 40% of American millennials have a fear of failure, but then 31% Gen X, and then 23% for baby boomers. So baby boomers are like,
boomers,
fuck it.
Right. They're on their way out. Gen X doesn't know enough to be afraid of failure. And 40% of millennials, I still, again, show me the other 60% who are living unafraid, unabashedly unafraid.
Well, you know what? I don't know when they did this study, but so much is going to drastically change about a lot of these stats after these pandemic years we have lived through as humans. Like, I think fears are shifted. Like, we have bigger fears and bigger things that are daunting. And so trying something is more appeasing to people. It's more appealing to people because it's like, oh, wow, life is so fragile and short. Hence, like if you've been listening, we've had an episode talking about normalizing working, from home, and we talked a lot about the Great Resignation and things that are happening with people now. And I do think that, like, I don't know, people are just kind of living a little more fearlessly now.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. There's some other stats on here. It says 90% of CEOs agree that fear of failure is their main cause of distress. Only 8% of people with assets worth over $10 million have the fear of failure.
That's such an interesting stat because, like, girl, what are you fearing with all that money?
Right. You know what's interesting though? I had somebody tell me this, that like $10 million is the like golden threshold for not ever having to worry about money.
Yeah, because there's so much that you can like take off to invest and still have enough money to survive that like you'll be fine. And there's more than enough money to invest in like a property, which always makes you more money back. Right. Stuff like that. Like, I feel, yes, I would be fine with that amount.
I want to do a sidetrack for a second. Nobody tells you when you're broke that investments and like stocks and stuff, like there's money there.
Well, it's not so much that nobody tells you, baby. I feel like if you're broke, you ain't got no stock money. Like, I'm just like, I got ramen money, baby. Like, I can't.
Your checking account. That was the only stock that I was investing in.
It's not that I ain't told. It's just that, like, I got to survive the night. I can't.
Right. It's not that I haven't been told. It's that I'm just not telling anyone that I'm not investing. And that was always the issue. Yeah. $10 million. If anyone has been listening to this and you've been wondering what the golden threshold is, it's $10 million. If you're less than that, keep listening. Maybe there's some tips and tricks here to overcome
CEOs, 90% of them say that it's their main cause of distress, fear of failure being their main cause of distress, which is like, not to be morbid or nothing, but like, those are the people that be jumping off the buildings when stuff goes bad.
Right.
And they're facing their little white man prison.
Mm-hmm.
And they be jumping. So it's distressful. It's just, I'm not laughing. Moment of
You're
silence.
not laughing you're laughing with them. I get it. The last stat we have is 51.8% of entrepreneurs exclusively in the United Kingdom.
Why them?
Have a fear of, I don't know, they have a fear of startup failure.
It's something about that I just do not care. It's like...
I don't care. I'm not going to fucking start up. They're afraid. And you know what? I always knew the British would be afraid.
I'm choking on my own laughter right now. You're so stupid. They do not, come on. Every entrepreneur.
This is the craziest stat. This is the craziest sentence I've ever read in English. 51.8% of entrepreneurs in the United Kingdom, period. That is the craziest sentence I've ever...
Not the United Kingdom.
Right.
Are we still calling
the craziest sentence. I think, legally...
Yeah.
But I think personally, we're just calling it...
London. England.
Yeah, we're just calling the United Kingdom. It's just London. And that's that on that when it comes to geography.
That's where we are with everything. Well, Adam, now in your life, now that you're this amazing athlete turned personality turned just incredible human in the world, do you still feel like you have a fear of failure?
Totally. I do. But the thing that I always go back to is that when I was okay, it can't get any worse, when I truly felt like I was at rock bottom, I used to just be afraid that I was going to feel embarrassed or that I don't know, that I'd be letting people down.
Yeah.
And truly, it was just a full reflection of how I was going to feel about myself. I was going to be embarrassed because I didn't do what I wanted to do. I felt like I was going to feel like a failure. It was because also in those moments, I learned how fleeting everyone's attention is that maybe even if they talk shit behind your back, it's going to be for 5 minutes and they're going to move on.
Yeah.
So it's not even that serious.
Yeah, and I think for me now that work is not the main thing that I care about, and or now that I don't actually care too much about sharing myself on social media, it doesn't really matter to me anymore what people think or don't think about what I do or how it plays out. And also because I'm hella vulnerable and open about not having everything all my ducks in a row or everything in place.
I think being vulnerable and how honest you are is
helpful.
Probably,
yeah.
Oh my God, it's the key.
Yeah, it's the most helpful thing I've ever experienced as far as being able to even embrace what failure could be or even being unafraid of that. It's so, I'm just so open to what life has and all of that I think if anything I'm afraid of is not experiencing things. So it doesn't to me, I don't know if I failed or not, at least there was something I shot for, I was shooting towards, which is
right.
I don't know. That's a lot to me. That's a lot of what life is for me.
I do think that that's the key, is that you go into all of these situations and that you just want to get something out of them. Because I think truly that so much success and all of these things that we consider the epitome of the top of a career or something, so much of it can be circumstantial.
Yeah.
Being in the right place at the right time and, doing something in front of someone who can help you further, a career path of yours. And sometimes you're not in the right place at the right time. And sometimes that you don't get those opportunities that somebody else might get circumstantially. And
yeah.
I think that feeling of, going into a situation, just wanting to get the most out of it is the most important feeling that you can have.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it matters what position that you're in, because the feelings are so relative to being in that position.
Real.
That, that feeling of God, I wish that I had more of this or more of that. Like, I always think that like somebody who's had so much success, that when you think of somebody who like Lady Gaga, I'm sure in her mind, she's like, I'd love to get like more Grammys because like I don't have as many Grammys as Beyonce does. And like, there's always somebody that even if you're at the very top, somebody's going to compare you to that next person, or you in your own mind have these role models or heroes, and then you want to outdo what they've done. And it can be so, I don't know, it can feel like you can diminish your own success from it, that if you don't focus on where you are and what you're doing, it takes away so much of the joy.
So many of us have been blessed enough to reach goals that we've set for ourselves, or dreams that we've had since childhood that we've held on to. And speaking solely as someone who's been able to do that, sometimes you reach that stuff and you look around and you're like, oh.
Yeah, that's what's so crazy.
Right? So even when it comes to having goals and things like that, when you think about the idea of being afraid to fail, like, y'all, sometimes when you don't fail, even that it's kind of underwhelming. And you have to end up remixing the dream and remixing a goal, or shifting it, or creating some other goal for yourself. So I think that's like, it just helps you not feel like there's failure there, because there's so many other ways and things to have like dreams about. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely. Because if you focus, I mean, I can just from my own experience of like going to the Olympics, it's like something that I wanted to do forever.
right.
But it comes and goes so quickly that I understand why people just get so burnt out from it. I mean, I thought that I wouldn't, because I was working a lot right after, but it's this letdown of like, oh my God, wait, that thing that I was so focused on was just like, it was a 2-week blip and it's gone.
Right.
And this is a total side note, and I'm not saying that these things are the same, but I watched the J.Lo doc on Netflix. Is it on Netflix?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. On a streaming platform. And so I watched the doc, and I was like, when she's about to go and perform at the Super Bowl, I'm like watching this, and you know, they have all of that footage of her behind the scenes, and they're about to go, they're setting up the whole stage on the field. And I remember watching this, and I'm like, oh my God, this must be so an incredible and crazy feeling that she must be feeling, that she's about to go. And it's like the pinnacle of, you know, of a performer's career, is one of those incredible things that so many people strive for, is to perform at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I was thinking that, I was like, you know, I feel like that's kind of like the Olympics. And it made me go back to my own like experience at the Olympics. And I remember, like, obviously when I had dreamed of going to the Olympics a million times, I dreamed it would be this incredible, bigger than life thing.
Yeah.
And I really feel like the whole reason that I even got to go and qualified and was like doing my best later in my career was because I had just like, it wasn't my focus. My focus was like the moments that I was in and like getting the most out of them.
Right.
And I remember being like, I knew it was the Olympics, but that self-talk I had was like, this is just like everything you've done every single day. Like, don't make this any bigger or any more important than it has to be. Like, just do what you've done a million times.
Real.
And it's so crazy because I'm like, oh my God, I'm sure she's probably thinking that. I'm sure she's feeling this adrenaline, but it's like this moment that you're like, oh my God, this is the biggest thing ever. But for you to really be in control and be present, you're like, this is not special. This isn't important. This is just another day. Like, it's so wild that those thoughts go through and you're like, this is so big.
Yeah. Adam, before we close this whole thing out, what are we normalizing about failure today?
Well, I think that we have to normalize admitting failure, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because failure needs to be acknowledged. And
it's the first step.
It is the first step. And we have to you have to feel that failure because it's the only time you're really going to learn from those situations that you've been in. And if you learn from them, then you really haven't failed. It was a time for you to grow and improve and educate yourself. Yeah,
and I would never want to downplay people's emotions attached to what they could deem a failure in their lives. So feel your feelings. Allow yourself to
Totally,
feel
yes.
what you feel about what has happened, wherever you feel that you have failed, and move forward. Allow yourself to get through those emotions, but knowing that that thing is a failure should give you, to me, I'm like, oh, that's how I take the victory. I failed already. I did it.
Right. And it's that first step into moving in the next direction.
Talk about moving in that next direction, picking the feet up. It takes, it takes some, I don't know, it takes some callous after a while. That's why I feel like Adam and I, we both feel like, well, I'm not as afraid of failure. And I think that has come from several failures, which have just
100%
built up a callus of failures. So it's the most beautiful part to me of failing.
Yeah. You only become unafraid of failing if you have failed.
Coming from a true failure.
Coming from a failure, me, it's true. My feet are calloused. I'm a walking
I am
callus.
a whole callus out here. Listen, I also want to normalize not comparing yourself to other people, because that's one of them things. Failure could really tear you apart when you think that you're supposed to be doing something that someone else is doing, right. and the highest achievers in the world are looking up at someone else. Beyonce admires people. You know what I mean? So it's
human nature.
It's human nature. It's not fair because it's so beautiful just to be who you are that comparing doesn't even make sense. You're so uniquely who you are.
Danielle, when I used to compete, I used to be so always looking around, and obviously in a competitive arena, they come out and there's a result of a first all the way through the last place, and it's easy to compare yourself. And I finally got to a point that this is a lesson I've translated from my athletic career, that when other people have success, it doesn't take away from my own success. And it took failing, and it took being in situations where I felt really good about what I did. And I also was able to feel really good about other people's successes. And it's really liberating to be able to admire, like you said, but not compare.
Oh, I love that. You gotta study, not hate.
Study, not hate.
Yeah, study, not hate. If someone's going to give you a view of what you think you want, then okay, look at it, study it.
Right. Yes.
Don't compare yourself to it. Allow yourself to be still uniquely who you are, but be like, okay, oh, this is how they move. Okay, got it. But yeah, don't compare yourself to other people.
No, it never, ever, ever is the right option.
Adam, I think it's time to move into my favorite segment, which I like to call Keep It or Curb It. Very close.
I remembered this song.
Very close.
Yeah. The notes were debatable from my end.
Debatable. For those of you who may or may not be new to listening to this podcast, this is a segment where we take a look at new social trends and decide if they're worth keeping or curbing. I'm going to kick it off with the first question. Okay, Adam? You ready?
Please, go ahead. I'm ready. I'm always ready to keep or curb anything.
It's got something to do with one of my favorite things, which is food.
Love.
So, yeah. But about 36% of Americans cook at home on a daily basis. 13.7% of those surveyed prepare meals at home because of a strong passion for cooking. As a result of the pandemic, Americans are both cooking and baking more. Sounds good for them. Should we keep or curb cooking at home on a daily basis?
Okay, I think we should keep it, but I feel like you have some strong...
I am a failure at cooking at home.
Okay, that I don't want to believe that, but continue.
No, it's just that the pandemic, we were just cooking so much. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It was all on me.
It was literally all on your slight shoulders.
Yeah, and I was doing so much.
My husband is European, and I feel like good night. That's all. That's just all I was going to say. Delicious.
Or as we like to call it, London.
So my husband is from London. And basically, you know how like people will make different meals and they'll be like, this is my grandma made this or something like that, right?
Yes.
Well, I feel like, all of those things. Sometimes you'll be like on the internet and something will come up and it'll be somebody who'll be talking about like white people don't flavor their food or like they don't spice their food.
We like to call it season.
Right.
Call on season your
No. I'm going to give you a firsthand account. Now, this is a really personal story, but I remember that my mom, growing up, my mom's favorite thing to make, and I quote, is a can of diced tomatoes thrown into a pot, then 2 chicken breasts, no salt, no pepper, al dente. Go ahead, eat it, done.
What else is in the pot?
That's it, honey. With
so it's
prayer.
Just sizzling with the tomatoes?
Boiled chicken. Yes, because red is a flavor. If you're white, red is a flavor. And it's a seasoning.
So it's just the chicken and no... And I bet she didn't even clean the chicken either, child.
Boiling is cleaning,
by
the way.
How are you alive?
I don't know. But I'll say, I think millennials, and I can speak from being white firsthand, that I definitely think it's a white thing, that growing up, lots of frozen, lots of pre-made. Oof. And I think that's just like our generation. Like if you're a millennial white person, and then listen, I'm speaking to myself. I'm looking in a mirror right now. I'm making eye contact with myself. And I'm saying, because when I think of like childhood dinners, and this turned me off from cooking, and I was like, I don't want to do it. Because when I think of like what I ate as a kid, it was a lot of fish sticks. There were some fish sticks in there.
Fish sticks are the worst.
There were a lot of, it continues, there were a lot of the flake potatoes that turn into a mashed potato somehow.
I know those guys.
We called it, because there was a restaurant near my house called Armetta's Pizza, and they had basically like breaded chicken breasts. Like this is, and we would go, Armetta's chicken. And it was like from Sam's Club, okay? So like pickings are slim. But I remember we had the chicken, the fish sticks, pastas, and the instant mashed potatoes and green beans out of a can. That's what made me. That was my gasoline.
Oof, child.
That made me feel like I don't want to cook at home. But
I could understand that.
Because boiled chicken doesn't sound good. Oh my
God, yeah. What a nightmare. I mean, as a kid who my mom definitely cooked almost every day for us, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because that is like what you do when you don't have a lot of money and there's children, and because it's like going out to a place is going to cost so much more.
Totally.
And so like we often had our meals cooked, but the upside was that my mom is a great cook. So it would be really, really good meals and not just the chicken with the tomatoes. Like my mama going to clean and season that chicken, and it's going to be cooked up, with some gravy. It's going to have some rice. I'm very used to a home cooked meal, but I was that kid. Any kid that grows up with home cooked meals all the time wants McDonald's. And you're not going to get that. So it was like I started detesting home cooked food. And now that I'm like a grown up who goes out to restaurants and things and I can afford to eat nice things, I really like doing that. Don't get me wrong, I do like a nice home cooked moment. But for the most part in my life right now, she's at a restaurant. So in the idea of keeping and curbing, Adam, I'm going to say I'm going to curb cooking at home on a daily basis.
Okay, good. Good for you. Because I'm going to say...
me free.
You are free, and I am back at the chains of my own home because I'm going to keep it because...
You need to learn how to not
JP's
just put
a good cook.
Tomatoes and
He's a good cook, and JP, that bitch likes to season things. So I'm
now
making
you've had
up for
seasoned
lost
chicken,
time.
And you don't know how to act.
Exactly.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Love
okay,
this
so...
for you.
Here's the next keep or curb, okay? I don't know. All right. I'm ready to go. A couple from Chicago went viral for posting a video of their baby shower. While nothing exploded or burned down, things got spicy after the expecting mother asked for anyone who did not bring a gift to leave the party.
Ooh,
So she said,
sometimes it
some
be like
people
that.
came. Okay, which is, I think, okay, before I even finish, I'm going to say that I feel like is so intense. She said, some people came that didn't bring a gift. And if you came without a gift, you can go ahead and leave.
Oh.
Okay, goodbye.
It's the attitude.
Goodbye.
It's the energy.
It's
Come
the
on.
attitude. Okay, go. Please, go ahead, Danielle.
Are we keeping or curbing? No gifts?
I guess we're going to keep the baby, curb the mother. That is insane behavior. That's totally wild.
It is. You don't know hormonally what is going on with pregnant women. So I don't want to speak against this bringer of life into the world. However, baby showers are typically where a mother, an expecting set of parents, racks up on a lot of baby things that they may need. Because it's also a time where you're nesting and a time where after you're giving birth and you're just at the house because your body is recovering and there's not, and nowadays there's a lot more, digital Instacarts and things you can do. But
right.
I think the tradition is just supporting a new family as they are, bringing this new life into the world. So they're very used to getting all these things at the baby shower. So in the sense of tradition, it is a little jacked up because what is the point of you coming to my baby shower if you are not here to celebrate and gift my baby? And
right.
Baby shower gifts are so they're just not minuscule, but just honestly, diapers and things that they may need are not that crazy. So if you couldn't even take it upon yourself to even get me a diaper for my child and you come in to eat my meatballs at the baby shower, I don't think you should be in my baby shower.
There are two not well people in this scenario. The person who showed up without a gift to the baby shower and the person telling that person who showed up without a gift. Actually, now that I'm saying it out loud, she's right. I'm on the mother's side.
I'm trying to tell you, you need to just stick with me, kid. It's...
Wait, actually, yeah. Because when I first read it, I was like,
it's weird for you to show up at a baby shower with no gift. Maybe if you show up at my birthday party, depending on what age I am or whatever, but to me, but I'm still from the school of thought of showing up at somebody's house with empty-handed is wrong. You know, I'm not gonna. I show up to your house. I'm bringing a bottle of wine. I'm bringing a game. I'm bringing a snack. I'm gonna contribute to the fact that I'm in your house. But that's kind of just how.
Yeah,
courtesy. That's like a courtesy thing.
You know what I know is going to be a running theme is that I'm going to have one opinion and then I'm going to talk about it for 1 minute, 60 solid seconds, and I'm going to completely flip and flop.
Listen, because I make good arguments.
Yeah, you do. You're the lawyer of this podcast.
Means a lot to, period. Laying down the law. But not for nothing. You are a weirdo for showing up at my baby shower without a gift. You could also just not come. Because I know you're going to go over there and fix a plate. I know you are.
See, that would be weird. I think that's totally weird. Don't bring anything and then eat stuff.
Yeah, because then also,
no,
people are also not going to be like, oh, girl, put the plate down. So I don't want to have to do that. Don't make me do this.
Self-talk. That's my self-talk.
Don't make me embarrass you at my baby shower. Also, don't upset me because I'm very close to delivery. So we're doing what we can to make this mother, any mother who is about to give birth, feel comfortable and feel supported. So don't irritate her.
Yeah. All right. Okay. My official stance is curbing.
We're keeping bringing gifts to the baby shower and curbing everyone who doesn't bring one.
Yeah.
But that was a fun rant though. What a good time.
Yeah. Curb. We curb that.
Adam, let's move into our next keep it or curb it.
I'm ready.
Yes. So this is our final one. So it's going to be juicy. It's about kids and careers. Two things that I'm just rolling my eyes at, to be honest.
Right. Okay, we're actually curbing careers and children.
And definitely leaving the kids on the curb.
Yeah.
Get outside. You're done. In recent years, dozens of summer camps have sprung up around the country for kids who want to explore YouTubing.
No. No.
Immediately not. They want to explore YouTubing as a career path, okay?
Uh-huh.
Julie Jargon, a columnist.
Not Julie.
Julie Jargon.
Miss Jargon.
Miss Jargon, a columnist at the Wall Street Journal, very reputable publication, wrote about this very burgeoning topic of YouTube career path. And she said that they're teaching kids to create their own unique voice so that they can stand out in a crowd of YouTubers and develop original content. No. Jesus wept. Julie didn't say that part. That was me.
She ended it with Jesus wept.
Jesus wept, and it continues to weep. Adam, are we keeping or curbing the YouTube kids of the future? Teaching YouTube as a career. I'm already going to say curb and then run over it.
Yeah. Curb, I'm in the car and I'm holding your hands and I have 1 foot above the gas. I'm ready to stomp down.
I'm ready to roll over it.
I'm ready to gun it.
Like, y'all, get closer to your headphones or to your speaker. We are running out of recipes. We need more doctors. We need more lawyers. We need more people that can fix things. We need plumbers. We need teachers. We need people with the collars that are blue. I know that YouTube and social media and the internet is making a way for all of us to create really beautiful lives of living on the internet and getting paid for it. But Jesus Christ, what are y'all going to do in 2052 when ain't no doctors out here but the ones on the TikTok?
Right, because you know I'm taking all of my dermalogical advice from someone who probably has a
TikTok.
Yes. You know, I don't even know the credentials of some of these doctors. You know,
and they just be on here in scrubs on the green screen.
And you can get those off Amazon. You can get scrubs on Amazon
right now.
I'm going to do it.
And I'm going to start a TikTok. No, but please curb this because I want freedom for us all. I want everybody to feel like, oh, I can be myself and get paid. But like,
I want to play devil's advocate.
You can't teach somebody to have a voice. Right?
No.
Am I wrong about that?
No, normalize being voiceless.
I mean, like you're
normalize. Actually, you know what we should
normalize?
Teaching them
how to create a unique voice when your unique voice is already yours.
Yeah. I mean, if you go on TikTok or something and you read some of the comments, people should normalize having no voice because sometimes people shouldn't be writing some of the stuff they do or posting some of the stuff they do. We shouldn't be
mass producing the next iteration of YouTubers. Like, this should be something that people get into if they are interested and they're consistent and they can build their following, do whatever you want to do.
But what do you say to the kids that are interested when they're young, right? Like they want to learn.
Which is happening because there's a lot of parents who are like gamers and like my nephew likes watching. There's this family where the dad has always played. Yeah, the dad has always played video games and different things like that. And he'll do it. And now his kids are like a part of it. So where it feels like a little bit vloggy, a little bit gamer. But it's like intergenerational. Now the kids are like making their internet money. They bought a house. They bought cars while they were, living on the internet.
Mm-hmm. That's just so weird. It's so wild.
All of this about them because he's watching them from the time before the man even had kids, and his kids are like, there's a teenager and like an 8-year-old now. So it's like, and they're raising their kids to understand that they can have these type of careers too.
Mm-hmm. I mean, listen,
like, it's nice. I know it is, but like, really, what are y'all gonna do when ain't nobody doing the jobs that need to be done?
Yeah, and I think I always think of like the influencer of it all.
Oh yeah,
and people who like fall into, they get a huge audience. But I think why I think being an influencer and being a YouTube, I think it's so volatile because the whole talent is like just that person. And it's, it's just being interested in this person that like, I think that when you see somebody who's like an actor or other people who like are, do some influencing stuff on the side, that almost like to just mentally be able to like deal with the back and forth of it all. I'm literally, words are coming out of my mouth and I'm going, what's happening to me? I'm having a mental breakdown. But you know what? Do you know what I'm trying to say? That at like if you have a career that people are following, it's totally different than if it's just you. Because that's when
there's
people
a difference
just
between you literally being a YouTuber and just like trying to come up with things to show people versus you're living your life and it's interesting and you're showing people.
Yes. And it feels like awful because like there is that like burnout from like you just have to constantly keep going. And when you have
God bless
something
the
that's
people that can, but
I don't know.
I am going to curb it all the way and again run over it. Back up and run over it again. Please,
and I'm
everybody,
in the car.
Look towards medical school. Just I know it's a lot of schooling and a lot of loans and it's very tough. But just in case in 40 years, like we don't have any more doctors.
Right.
We're
we
gonna
will
need
have a really great YouTubers, that'll be good though.
But wow, like, comment, and subscribe. We are coming towards the end of this episode of Normalize This, your new favorite podcast. Adam, I really want to know from you the takeaways of failure and normalizing it. Are we normalizing failure? I think we should.
It's been normal.
It's normal as hell to me.
Yeah.
I'm
failing
right
been normal. Now. And I think and there's been no bigger failure than the United Kingdom, to be honest. And that's why I'm normalizing that the United Kingdom is just, Europe is London. And
all
that's
of
what
Europe
I'm taking
is
away.
just London. Rest in peace.
Europe is London.
To the Queen, we're making decisions around, the way that things should be now. Okay. Well, everybody, that's our time. I'm so glad that you love yourself enough to listen to us. So, just keep doing that. Yeah, because we do love you. Keep doing that. Keep making good decisions like that. Rate us, comment on it everywhere that you can comment. Like, go on other people's podcasts and comment about our podcast.
Yeah, we love that. We would
really love that. I love a battle. And then, like, subscribe. Don't forget that. It's very important that you do that part. Wherever you listen to your podcast, reach out to us on social media. I'm going to tell you a million times. I'm at the Danielle Young on Instagram, at RapsoDanny on Instagram, on Twitter. I need you to just DM me all of your nudes.
Exactly. Nudes, and we'll normalize them. And you just find me. I'm on social media too. Just find me, DM us, let us know. We'll normalize whatever you want. Give us 5 stars. Nothing less. Yes. Beautiful reviews. Thank you.
Next time. I'm going to have more things to tell you about myself, but also about Adam.
Yeah.
It's going to get intimate.
It will. And it usually does. So we love you guys. Thank you so much. And until next time.
Keep failing and...
Keep failing, everyone. Good night and good morning. Hey, listeners, we want to hear from you. Make sure you're following @MakeSpringHill on all platforms for weekly show updates.